Gravy, baby.
What's up, gravy babies? Biscuit bitches and ladles and so forth. Assorted breakfast
That's what,
confectionaries.
Yeah.
It's me and DJ today. We are Sans Drew. Everything's okay. Don't even worry about it. He's just got some work, which is good for him. Hi, DJ.
Hey, look at my double squash. That's one squash that looks like nuts.
Dude, that's nature's truck nuts right there. That's literally what it looks like. It looks like God is actually pro truck nut.
Yeah, dude.
I love that you
I
put them
kept
on your
thinking-
forehead. Now you know how we
Yeah.
feel. That's why guys always like 69 more than chicks do. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, please go to YouTube, Gravy Baby Pod, and watch the video episodes where Smarter Mark edits for us, and you can see the. Actually, send me a picture of that. I gotta post that on the Discord, and I gotta post that on the Instagram. Those are perfect nuts. I'm very particular about nuts. I feel like we've covered that on this already, so I'm already particular about nuts. That's a good pair of nuts, you know.
That's what I thought too.
Mhm.
I can't believe I never seen a double squash like that.
Neither have I.
Yeah, just
Old crook neck nuts.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. What's funny, and my friend Jackie just gave me a bunch of crook necks from her garden. She got a garden out here. Gave me a
Yeah.
bunch. I mean, it's upsetting how much of a difference you could taste in something
Oh,
that's
yeah.
been grown in the dirt
Yeah.
without all the shit and
Yeah.
stuff from the grocery store. But I definitely
Yeah.
have never seen a perfect pair of nuts come out of the ground like that, for sure. I don't know what the fuck you're feeding them, squash, but keep it up, buddy.
Goat poop. And you know what else we started doing? So we like collect all the goat poop that we can. It's like it's impossible to collect all the goat poop, but if they poop on the platforms and somewhere we can just sweep it off, and then but we get that and we just kind of grind that all up and add like add our regular like scraps to it,
hmm
and just drop it right into the dirt and just drop it just like it looks it doesn't look great. It looks just like this mess of eggshells and like
hmm
leaves and stuff all over the dirt. But like, man, the garden is just doing crazy this year. Like our collards are fucking enormous, and squash is coming out.
This squash is trying to fuck, is what this squash is doing.
Squash, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I was
But I
reading
don't
is rice water and pasta water, too.
Rice water, definitely.
Mhm.
For sure, dude. What is it? Lactic acid? Yeah, anyways, they call it dog cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw so we were out mowing. I told you we go where rich folks be, right?
hmm
And there was an AI lawnmower out there, dude. There was
You mean like
it
no
was a
person on it?
like no person, robot, straight up robot.
No remote control or nothing?
No remote control, no nothing.
So it was like a Roomba, but for the lawn?
Yeah, dude.
Was it
Yeah,
mowing all
dude.
weird like that, too?
No, dude. They're just mowing and like actually in squares. It was crazy.
Wow.
I
So
don't
it
know
did a
exactly
square
how the-
spiral. So go all the way around and then go slightly in all the way around. And it was able to go around shit and stuff?
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Get close to the edge. Get close to the edge of shit. Like, I mean, like, not bumping into shit. It was moving. And the guy who owns the place is like this tech dude. I don't know. Dude, the people who live, like the drummer for AC/DC lives up there.
What? I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know that motherfucker was still alive.
I don't know shit, right? No, that's what I said too. But yeah, apparently he lives right up here in the Highlands, man.
Wow.
And yeah, dude, there's like yeah, I mean, just muddy. It's
Did it look
fucking
like I always imagine like those things? They always make those things like the they always make it look real slick. So that all I'm imagining is like what it looks like when you see somebody have like a high end AC unit but on wheels. So it's just like this block on wheels, and it's just like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it really it was real. And apparently like they're not like, I don't know, fucking, I guess you can buy them, so I don't know if they're on market or not. But what he started talking to us about was some of the most, like, he's in that world. So like he was happy to show, which Gary, the guy that I work with, right?
Mhm.
He saw it, he was like immediately like, we're done. Like the landscape of business
Yeah,
is
dude.
done. It's done, dude. It's done, man. It's over. It's
5 years
over.
before it's affordable. 5 years, maybe even less.
Yeah, dude. Maybe before that. Who even knows, dude? But like, so it did look real. It was sleek as fuck, dude, but it was boxy as fuck too.
Mm-hmm.
It was anyway, so he goes to talking about all these different things that are going to be released within the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, so they have 3D printing.
Yeah, of course.
They now have 4D printing. Are you ready for this?
Meaning what?
So let's say you have like a hot water or a cold water valve,
Mm-hmm.
or like some. This is how he explained it. So this is what I'm going to use.
Okay.
Like and it has to take in hot water at a certain amount of hot water, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can print this valve, right, to where when it feels like, if it's rushing like cold water and then hot water hits it at a certain temperature, or if the temperature gets too hot, it'll close off itself. And you can print it to know that.
You could. How does it print? Yeah. You could. So does it print a sensor, or what is the? I don't understand.
It's just I don't know exactly what the fuck it is, but it's called 4D printing. I haven't been able to investigate that yet. But another thing that he was talking about was the AI that they're putting in cars, and he showed us a video. There's a video online of this, right, where they're in front of this BMW, right, and in front of it there's like a trash can, a napkin, and an apple, right? And the dude asked his car, "Hey, can you get me something to eat?" Right? And he was like, "Sure, eat an apple." He's like, "Why did you pick the apple?" And it tells him, "Well, it's an organic substance," which is, and the other two are like blah 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 blah. Then it basically, yeah, dude. And then like his car's telling him this, right?
Dude, we're finally getting Knight Rider, man. All this shit people thought up in the 80s is happening.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking Knight Rider, you're going to have a chat with Kit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, dude. You're like, take me to the best restaurant. They're like, well, fucking what? You know what I'm saying? Like, and having a conversation. Yeah, to having a total conversation with your fucking car, dude.
Wow. So he was like, okay, because Apple's food, and I'm not an idiot, and there's that's a trash can, and unless you're a goat, you're not going to eat a napkin. So,
he knew that it was organic and knew the nutrition in it, and it was the only thing that you could eat.
Here's my question: did it know what kind of apple it was?
No, I don't.
Not yet. It's close. It's close. It'll start figuring that out too.
It's picked deliciously from the fields of Guatemala by fucking what the fuck?
Well, soon, because they have that little barcode on the fruit or whatever that'll tell you. So
they could just scan it. But
yeah,
there wasn't no scan it for that, dude. Or I guess it had to scan it somehow, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some sort of sensor which It's just, it blew my mind. And then,
Your car's like, you don't need to eat that. That does not have enough nutritional value. Oh man, I can't wait
yeah,
till the electronics are like shaming us for how poorly we live. That's kind of going to be my favorite part because it'll be the funniest part.
I mean, they already have those toilets, right? That tell you like, yeah, you poop in and it gives you like your fucking what's going on with
I
your
have
poop.
not seen that, but that's fucking hilarious. When you take a shit, it's like, God damn. It'd be funny if you could like load personalities into them, be like, God damn, buddy, that was awful for the both
Have
of
Bernie
us.
Mac and
Yeah,
stuff.
I would love Bernie Mac. Fiber. You need more fiber. Dude, if Bernie Mac was shaming my shits, that might be the best thing AI could ever do.
The thing about that is, like, dude, if you like make your toilet too smart, dude, eventually that motherfucker gonna quit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm tired of you abusing me.
Yeah, yeah, dude, this job sucks.
Just some drunkard, the toilet's like, once again, you have over ingested and the amount of alcohol that your body can handle.
It does do that. It does do that. It does. It gives all the fucking whatever fiber, whatever your health thing, whatever you can tell. Mine would probably be like, you got worms, buddy.
Well, don't we all at this point? Don't we all have worms?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, it's all progressing in strange ways, but like I said, I mean, it's still only going to get as smart as we can make it smart. I know they're trying to make it like on the highest levels of AI, they're trying to make AI make itself smarter because they know we have a human threshold to only make it so smart. But I mean, that's always the part where I'm like, why? I don't get that. I understand developing it to make things easier, blah, 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 which to me, honestly, the easier things are, it seems like the sadder everybody gets. So I don't know if all of I mean, it all started in the 50s when everything was like, oh, you need more time. It all started because the housewives needed more time. And then over time, it's like, oh, everything's time saving, but nobody's really doing anything cool with that time other than sitting around and being sad. Yeah, watching war happen.
Watching war on your phone.
Yeah. Man, I'm so glad everything's convenient now so I can watch the war. You know? Because when they talk about like the good old days, it was like, I think you were just too busy to think about anything sad long enough because you had to go survive. Like the less we have to survive and like things are easier to attain. And I just mean attainable, not like easy, but they are attainable. You know, where if you're not completely destitute, you just have somebody slightly poor bring you your groceries and shit like that, like all that shit. I don't know that it's really helping.
Well, no, of course it's not. It's self-serving to the elite classes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they push these things on us that we really don't need while keeping things that we really need way far
at bay. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, dude. Until eventually, like, the robots are doing the jobs and we're digging fucking, you know, we're just free labor in the gulags. In the goo, true to the goo.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just to feed us into thinking that we're not being, like, it's almost like they're trying to lipstick on a pig type of situation for our economic collapse, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you look at like other countries that are like Calcutta, all these other places where it's like it's fucking brutal, then you're like, well, it's not that. It's like, but you're not really looking though.
Yeah.
Because there's parts that are like that. There's parts that are like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at us like, God.
Yeah.
They're looking at us like that. Like the amount of like shootings and fucking poverty and fucking drug abuse and violence and craziness that's here. I mean, it's like, yeah, we might be able to like, we got some stuff that's cool. We could go to Starbucks, but like.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, at least I could go to Starbucks. Like, that's what they think, like you know, like as you get older, it's like things that you thought were elaborate. I think we talked about that. The stupid Briars. What was it called? It started with a V. No, I can't remember it. But things that you'd like, for me, that was like a point of wealth when I was a kid because of the commercials, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Viennetta. That's what it was. The Briars Viennetta, which all it was is ice cream cake. It was an ice cream log with chocolate on top. But when I was a kid, I thought that was fancy.
It was a treat because it was like $4. And you're not gonna spend $4 on a goddamn ice cream fucking thing.
The commercials too made it seem like it was something decadent. Just like when you thought like Grey Poupon. Remember Grey Poupon was a point of wealth? Mustard?
Yeah.
I believe that. I got a jar of Dijon in my fucking refrigerator right now. I am not fancy.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy how like all commercials are like that too. Like fucking like they'll have a new Swiffer out. This all of a sudden this lady's just like, oh my God, my life is a breeze now.
Yeah.
We got this new. I can't believe everything. You know what? Spill the juice, Mikey. It doesn't even fucking matter. Shit on the floor. We got the new Swiffer.
Yep.
Everything is like that. Like, dude, why are you such an idiot? You don't have this new thing. Look at this new thing we all got. That's great. That makes you rich and feel the rich people got. You can be a rich.
I don't think they don't do the rich angle as much as convenience. I think that's because they know. I think the middle class is diminishing, so it's harder for them to like be like you could be upper middle class if you use this or if you eat this or whatever. Now it's like, well, to me, anytime I watch television that's not on a streamer anymore, it's all drug commercials. I feel like Big Pharma kind of owns cable at this point.
Yeah, totally.
That's all they're pushing.
Absolutely.
No.
That and bro shit. It's like, dude, I can't tell you, every time I turn on like a YouTube video, it's either a politician begging me for money or a fucking goddamn a guy going, fucking, estrogen's killing men.
Okay, I think that might be your algorithm because I don't get that shit at all.
You don't get that shit?
I think that might be.
I hate Walsall.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. Once you're on the internet and not on TV, they don't have to think about broad appeal. They can be specific. Yeah. They can advertise you to you specifically. So I'm not gonna get the chunky soup ad that's got the big burly man. This makes you a man because you eat chunky soup.
You don't get any of the knives? You get any of the knives where it's like, my son gave me these badass fucking knives for my Father's Day.
No.
I can't believe how much I fucking love that little son of a bitch. And he starts making food. You seen that one?
No.
Oh my God. My algorithm is fucked up.
I know. I definitely don't get that. But I guess that's the one thing that's like, it's like harder to create unity when we can't even have like the same things to make fun of all together. You know? It used to be like you could make I guess that's one of the things that's like changing that's like super annoying is like, it used to be like we all knew this, everybody knew the Cutco commercial. Everybody knew, if you want to talk about knives, everybody knew about the knife that could cut through a penny. And it was always sharp. You always cut yourself because it was like, whatever. It was bullshit, but we could all make fun of it. We could all be like, oh, you get the Cutcos? You get the classic Cutcos? Yeah. I knew a kid that sold them door to door.
That's wild.
It is wild. Selling anything door to door now is insane. Like it seems so dangerous.
Insane. Yeah.
My ex used to sell what's it called? Solar panels.
Yeah.
And buddy, some of the stories he'd have, holy shit.
Yeah. Could you imagine being a cable dude these days? They have to go fix somebody's cable in their house, have to go into their house and like in a stranger's house and like
sit down with the house smell. Do you ever notice? You got ADHD nose. You smell the house smell, right? Yeah, everybody got a different house smell.
Yeah, everybody's got a different house smell.
I remember growing up, my dad was so paranoid. He would ask people when they came to the house, which is a fucking strange thing to do. Whenever somebody would come over, for the first thing you do when he comes over, he goes, "Does our house smell weird? How does our house smell to you? What does it smell like? Like, could you go?" And everybody like, "I don't fucking know. It smells like a house." Like nobody knows how to answer that.
Yeah. It smells like, you can't be like, it smells like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really. I remember we we live in a house. And
If
you
it
would
ain't
think
rank,
doesn't take that.
you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. If it ain't ranked, then
Yeah,
people can't really point out what the fuck that smell is.
Yeah, right, exactly. And the house has sometimes a house just has a particular smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like my stepdad, he lived in the same house and he had went through all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I mean, he had another wife, he had dogs in there, he had different people, but the house itself smelled just like it did. I had one of those, like when I got out of prison, he was living there before I got out of prison. When I got out, I went to go visit him. And I went in, and
It
as soon
must
as
have
I
been
went
nice to
in,
be familiar, right? I know this
it
smell.
was very much like that
Comforting.
thing, that whole familiar fucking, oh shit, I'm fucking, yeah. I remember this smell. I remember teenage angst.
Yeah. You just immediately mad. Fuck you, Dad. You walk in the door. Fuck you, Dad. I missed you. Fuck you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, unless it smells like cat piss. Cat piss is across the board the worst.
Yeah, for sure.
My mom's house always smelled like food, so I can't I can smell the house smell now when I go back to visit, but after like a day I can't smell it anymore. Our house always smelled like food because my mom was always cooking something. So I still can only smell that, but some people's house smells are bizarre. Oh, this was awful. One time I was doing this road gig with like an old road dog, and I had an off night, and he was like, well, you could crash I have a house in St. Louis, you could crash at my house. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I went to stay at this dude's house, and he used to smoke inside, like chain smoke inside, never opened a window. So like when we walked in, after not being in the house for several days, because we were out on the road, we get to his house and there's still like a cloud of cigarette smoke in that bitch. And I was like, oh man, it was like everything I own is going to stink when I leave here. Everything I own is going to stink.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I guarantee you this, you spend enough time here, you're going to smell like a barn. Like there's no washing it off yet. I know I smell like a barn. I know everything smells like a barn. Everything smells like outside.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is pretty insulting to some people's nostrils. But,
I think outside is definitely different from barn though, because barn holds a lot of those smells in.
That is very true. That is very true. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever remember walking into someone's house and their smell affecting you emotionally in a way or not? I guess besides your dad, though that was familiar.
Yeah, man, I mean, I've been in some pretty fucking wild fucking houses, like, definitely places where people were selling drugs and stuff, and like,
oh yeah, so you get that burnt plastic smell, like, shit. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, like it smells like a plastic burning everywhere, and like it just smells bad. Mm-hmm. They smell bad. It just smells like horror.
There's Nessie. Sorry, I saw the stiletto boots in the corner. I was like, there she is. Sorry, I get distracted. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I can't think of a. That was why I was always suspicious of Febreze. Whenever somebody's house smelled like Febreze, I always felt like they were hiding something. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Febreze doesn't smell refreshing to me. Well, naturally, like a study came out that all those fucking things that's in Febreze are bad for you. Blah blah blah. I mean, it was only a matter of time. But anytime I smelled Febreze, I was like, "What did it smell like before you sprayed this?" You know?
Yeah. Did it smell like a chemical fucking spray? That's what that shit smells like.
Yeah.
Chemical fucking. Yeah, bad. I used to.
Well, I just feel like you're lying to me. You know?
Yeah.
Let me figure out what it is. Because if I can smell it, I'll be like, oh, you cooked earlier. I can just my brain can decipher you got a dog. I can break down the smell and put it in its little categories. But when it just smells like Febreze, I'm like, what are you hiding? Would you?
Yeah.
What were you
Yeah.
doing before I got here?
And also, like incense, you got incense right there. Just burn some incense, dude. Incense, you know what I'm saying? It can be overwhelming, but like you can get a good incense smell. But I appreciate, you know what I mean? I can even
Some of them
like
are
even
gross,
more.
but yes, I'm particular
Yeah,
about smells. Obviously, from this conversation, I'm very particular about
yeah.
smells. One of my best
I think
friends
I don't.
lost her sense of smell, and I
Oh my
cannot
god.
even imagine, huh?
Oh my god, that's awful. The COVID.
No. It was like they gave her medicine when she was like a kid, and it fucked up. She lost her sense of smell because of the medicine that they gave her. It's like one of those
That's even
situations.
worse.
Yeah,
That's even worse.
I was reading
As a
it
child.
because I was reading the thing about like senses. This is so nerdy, but it was like if you lose your sense, like a lot of people don't realize how much it affects everything else.
Mhm.
And not just in the, but in like tasting and everything, because how Mama loves food.
Yeah.
There's like the whole note of fragrance that doesn't add, so it's kind of like tasting in black and white. So everything you taste is kind of like just in the basic salty, sweet, bitter, sour. You just get your tongue
No
taste.
hint of no
Yeah,
hints of
no
peppery.
hints.
Yeah. Well,
No.
yeah.
So like every time she drinks, like what's a good example? Like La Croix is a good example. La Croix, all those sparkling drinks that all this those are they're all for your nose. There's no taste.
I,
So it's all essences of shit. So when you drink it, breathe in when you drink, you can smell a lot of that shit. So it's not even, so when she drinks a La Croix, it tastes like fucking sparkling water, period. Doesn't taste like, she can't tell the difference between them.
that's wild.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I went into all that.
Nah, you're frozen on my screen. You're frozen on my screen.
I hope I'm
Oh,
making
now
a
you're not.
goofy
Okay.
face.
Yeah, you totally are. I don't know if I'm not getting give us that. Sometimes it's such a weird thing. Okay, now we're back.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Tell me about that
Oh,
crazy shit that you found. The article you sent me.
well, that was part.
Because I couldn't read
That
it.
was part of it.
Okay.
That's yeah. The brain organoids. So they have a they're growing brain tissue, right? Like in labs, right? And this brain tissue, some of them are actually getting orbital sockets too, so they're like sensitive to like light. In some images, in these, like they're the it's
What
way
kind of
too
what kind of brain
scientific.
is it? Is it human brain? What are they are they working with human brain or?
Yeah, the human brain.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And there's this biocomputer in Sweden that they're actually like so this brain tissue is actually running these computers. These lab grown brains are actually running computers and
So they
playing
take
Pong.
they take a
And
brain
like
that they've been developing in a lab, right? And then what do they put
that
a
they
bunch of
grew
like
it.
electrodes to it and connect them to machines? And then so how? But here's my thing that doesn't make sense to me is how do they get the brain to learn anything? Do they? Because if it doesn't have eyes, if it doesn't have like, so is it just firing off on certain parts of the brain to like teach it?
So that was the question that I had asked.
Yeah.
And that's why I was reading that article. I've tried to read a couple of articles. It's like, I don't know. It's like one of the things like, I don't know that they know. You know what I mean?
They're just
but
fucking
they're able
guessing.
to use these computers and they're able to communicate with this brain matter through computers. They're able to, so whether that was just simply something that I don't know.
It's probably trial and error, just like because if it's developing, I imagine they would be trying to like talk to it and trying to like communicate with it just
It
like
rec-
go ahead.
it recognizes voices for sure, and and it can sense light and so shapes and stuff.
Mm.
So it's like it's scary. It's what it is. It's fucking terrifying. Um, Absolutely nightmarish.
Wait, so
Uh,
did they take the whole brain is completely brand new, or did they take a human's brain that was already has data in it and then connected
they
it?
grew the brain.
They grew
They
the brain.
grew it in a lab. This is lab brain. This is straight up Dr. Frank. Not even Dr. Frankenstein. This is 2.0. This is Frankenstein 2.0 playing Pong, running computers, running these biocomputers, like running them. It's
So
fucking crazy.
what have they found the brain's capable of doing so far? Have they said that? What it can it do?
Well, it can definitely recognize voices and it can follow commands on a computer. It can run a computer.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does that. However, a computer runs, it can do that. It can play Pong against another brain tissue. So you get two separate brains.
So you got two
that you
lab
grew,
brains
so-
playing Pong against each other?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a YouTube video on it. And it's crazy.
I imagine so.
It's crazy, man.
I wonder if they're gonna do it like how you do it with how they over time bred dogs to do different work. So like these brains, whichever one is like excelling faster, that's when you try to give it more stimulation and shit like that to keep it developing further. Because I mean, I imagine some brain matter is gonna be better than others.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what the chemical compound is. Like, you wouldn't want to fucking have one with like, super manic or fucking give it like bad depression or something.
That's what I'm saying. If you had
What
a
is
sad lab brain, dude, come on.
Yeah. Dude, it seems depressing to just your entire existence is like, at what point are you aware? Is it conscious? Like, what is going on? Like, that's the whole thing with me. It feels like some Matrix shit, honestly. Like, where they had the brains like running the computers, and the computers were like running everything. We're like,
we're a battery.
So
yeah.
So like, is the computers that it's running part of the inside of the brain, the like mechanisms of the brain mechanics? I don't like it. I would say no.
I don't
why
think
can't
so.
we just have some clean water, man?
True, but also I don't think it's obviously not there yet, because it's like it's only being able to do basic functions like playing Pong and being sensitive to light and stuff. I feel like we're talking about a brain on its infancy level, so it's still gonna take some developing before it gets to something that's actually scary.
Well, that's what scares me about all this stuff, which obviously I'm good at anxiety. You know what I mean? So I was scared. I was scared about something else before I was even scared about this. Fucking, so they just made it worse. But like, this is what we know. This is what we know it does,
Mm-hmm.
which means whatever it does, is a lot more than that. So
well, I mean, if they're putting it on
doing,
YouTube and shit like that, I feel like they're trying to show the findings of it as it's happening. No, or are the videos really old of this?
It's a couple years old. I can't remember exactly when. It's
Okay.
a couple years old.
So it might be a little further along than that. But I still feel like, and to go back to what you were talking about being conscious, I don't think it wouldn't have anything to compare itself to, Like, remember when you were younger and you didn't, like, when I was younger, I didn't know I was poor. I never even thought about it until I was older and had something to compare it to and was like, oh, poor, So I think it's the same thing, like if you grew up in an abusive home or whatever, a lot of times that's what you think is normal. You think everybody does that. So I think, like, when you think about, like, regular brain activity, I feel like it's not going to know it should be sad because it doesn't know why it would be sad. Because there's nothing to compare it to.
Right. That's interesting. That's an interesting point.
You know, I don't think, listen, I'm not trying to make you any less scared. Be scared. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's at the scary part yet. Because again.
Oh, we're at the scary.
There's plenty to be scared of. I just meant this one, the lab brain thing. But I always thought we had already went too far once they started like cloning racehorses and shit like that. That guy in Texas that has had like an award-winning horse. Producer Mark, do you know about this? I feel like you would. He always knows about the most random shit. But this guy had a like award-winning horse, and then he cloned the horse, and so to make another award-winning horse. And I was like, I think over time, like there's varying in personality, but most of it was pretty consistent that they were able to do this. Which to me is already wild.
Do they do that with dogs too?
Mm-hmm.
Do they do that with people's dogs now?
Yeah, I think you can get a close. It's not going to be the same.
It can't be the same.
It's not going to be the same. I think you could get it close, but it's not going to be the same.
I mean, that would be freaky to me. Like especially if I knew that I had just cloned, like if I had like a nasty clone, and I was
but you were like, tweak her head button me all the fucking time. I mean, yeah, if you can do if you can like, I imagine so. If you can like say what you do and don't want in your baby, if they can do that much with genetics, I imagine they would be able to be like, I'll make you another Frenchie that looks the same.
See, that's freaky too. I don't like none of that. I don't like any of that. I would much rather just have a surprise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
just give me a new dog. But that's because you're more comfortable with mortality. I think that's what it is. Once people get obsessed with things lasting forever, which is talk about a classist ideal. Think making something last for everything, it's okay. Oh my God. Laurie Kilmartin has this great joke about people being precious about dogs. Like she has her dad had 4 chocolate labs all named Pepsi. So he always had a chocolate lab named Pepsi, but it was 4 different dogs. So no matter what, it was always Pepsi. It was always a chocolate lab, but it was 4 completely different dogs, different personalities. But to him, he was like, I got a chocolate lab named Pepsi. Like that was enough. That was his way of having more, I guess, immortality. But it was just like to have something consistent.
That's wild. That's like ordering the same thing from like every time you go to a Mexican restaurant or something, and you're just like, I think people do
that. I think people do that. It's comforting. They don't like to go awry, risk taking, scary. Again, terrifying. What if I order the wrong thing? There's no wrong thing. There's only trying new things. You could discover. You could discover something you don't like. Like you could discover.
Adventure, man.
Exactly. Yeah. What are we saving all this time for if it ain't for goddamn adventure? Why else?
I'm saying. Exactly. You're saving time. You're saving time doing tasks so that you can spend more time at work. I think is really what. Like you don't have to spend you don't have to spend 45 minutes making dinner anymore. You can just pop it in the microwave after your 12-hour shift.
I do like that there is a rebellion against that. Maybe that's just my algorithm, but there is way more and more people like. What did I see? I saw the other day somebody was like making Pop-Tarts that don't have a bunch of chemicals. You can make your own Pop-Tarts at home. Don't eat Chick-fil-A. You can make the same breading from Chick-fil-A at home. You can and it's all this. You don't have to give these people money and buy the poison. Yeah. You could do it. And does it take more time? Yes. Is it more a pain in the ass? Yes. But you can still achieve it. So that things like that make me still be hopeful about people because they're still like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm just going to make I'll make my own goddamn Cinnamon Toast Crunch that doesn't have fucking plastic in it or whatever the thing is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of joy in the actual work of doing things like that. There's a lot of joy.
That's what I think they're really robbing us of. It is the feeling of accomplished, because work doesn't ever make you feel accomplished. What do you get, a fucking certificate?
No, working for
you get employee of the month.
Right.
You know, what do you get?
Oh my god,
a pizza party
with a picture on the wall.
Yeah, fucking pizza party in the break room. Like, they're not giving you
Oh my god.
I think it's through accomplishing. I think that's why so many people got like fucking creative hobbies now. I mean, I guess that's what you're doing with if you're doing something creative with your extra time, I think that's rad. But those side things always just end up being side hustles because you don't make enough money at your regular ass job.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then it just becomes a job. That's the bad thing about the side hustle fucking thing, is that, like, suddenly, I want to do this thing that I enjoy doing. Now, fuck, I'm on a time schedule. I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Now it's a job. Now it's become a job that I'm, fucking, and the joy of just being in the moment and creating this thing is fucking gone.
But having that said, I agree. I do agree. But then there's also people that were like, I started making these cutesy things on Etsy, and now I got to quit my shit job that I don't like because now I just make cutesy shit on Etsy. Right. So that's the other side of it too. So if you'd rather be crocheting shit than working at a job you don't like, I'm also on board for that. So I mean, that's me, because I very much could have been kept a job and been a weekend warrior comedian, but I had no interest. I mean, I was way more reckless about it. I was like, I don't give a fuck what happens. We'll see. I'll make it work.
Yeah, the adventure, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That I don't know if it's adventure or if it's also bad risk assessment. You gotta remember, my fear meter's broken. I've probably taken some unnecessary risks that I didn't need to.
No, I get it. It's crazy because, like, there's a lot of course, okay, at this very moment right now, like what I'm about to say is totally because, like, I'm listening to this 20-hour fucking podcast about cults. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
And
well, you got to do your research to start your own.
No, I'll never do it, dude. I'm so anti-cult right now. Oh my god, dude. Don't.
You could be the good one, guys. DJ. You could be the good cult.
That's what everybody say. They all say that, okay? They all say that. Now, anytime I hear somebody say, we can just live on a farm together, I'm like, no, we fucking can't. We fucking can't.
Okay, what's the thing you're about to say that's controversial? Tell me. What is it?
Well, it's not controversial. Okay. It's just, I feel like it's just my attitude right now about it. It's like, I feel like at some point, regardless if you're working a 9-to-5 or you're doing comedy or you're doing anything, you're in this world, right? You're definitely serving the same master, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like, and I guess, like, so I think a lot of people get down on themselves, like, oh, I should be doing this, and I hate my job, and I hate this. That's like, at the end of the day, even if you do get all your stuff up on Etsy and start selling it, guess what? Like, a huge amount of a lot of your data is getting sold to, like, the fucking evil corporations, and, like, you're participating in the death cult, which is, the fucking United States empire. Like, there's no getting around it. So, I mean, I guess that fulfillment does come in creativity, but I also feel like, I don't know, man. Peace of mind is like a fucking huge thing. I don't know what I'm getting at. They're all forcing us to fucking labor.
I was like, man, I hope there's a positive spin on this at the end. It
No,
seems like the
not
only
at all.
then well, according to that line of thinking, the only thing would be to do is to leave, is to live in a different country,
Yeah, or just like,
or you live off the
try to
grid.
find that peace, or just or wherever, just try to find that peace within yourself to be peaceful and be able to love yourself, because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what it is that feeling of self fulfillment and self love and appreciation
Yeah,
for everything
worth.
around you. Yeah, yeah, worth. Yeah, finding worth and value in things, regardless of what it is. And it is hard to do that. It is hard to do that at a 9 to 5 when you're like going in and it's just like, yeah, thanks for fucking being an essential worker. No, I'm sorry. You can't get a raise, but check out this new boat I bought. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's hard to find your own self worth in that, in that power structure. But like that power structure exists everywhere. I mean, how many people are like fucking famous, you know, on Instagram, or famous on, and they don't live off that money. They're fucking barely getting by. You know what I'm saying? Spotify doesn't pay you any money for that. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
like, it's a hard gig on that road, man, especially as a
I mean, some
musician.
some people are making a lot of money. Some people are making a lot. Definitely not musicians, because Spotify is paying like pennies or fractions of pennies.
Yeah.
But especially like that's the whole thing, is if you're creating something, and there's plenty of people that I think are problematic that are doing this, and this is the part of the thing that they're doing that I admire, is you got somebody that's like making $43,000 a month on Patreon. They're sure they're getting their cut, but all that
Oh,
money
sure.
is going from the people to the person that want to have the money. You know what I'm saying? So I do think in those ways you're participating, but not really. Other than, you still have to pay taxes, all that. You still have to participate in society. You still have to do all that, because at the end of the day, you are still living here. That's the system that we live in. So you're still but you're getting your money not through any kind of weird. The less hands it touches, you can make a lot of money with less hands touching your money, is what I'm saying. Now more than ever, and because of things like that. So, because at the Etsy shop, at the like Etsy in particular, you could open an online shop, like, you know what I'm saying? They're not everything is mining your data. There's ways to do it. You could also just fucking go to an art fair and do an art fair every Sunday and make your shit and sell it to the people direct. Like, you can still do that. There's a lot of countries where I think that that's more difficult to do. So I do think that that's like a cool thing that we have. But then you also go to South America and you could just trade for shit as well, which I think is sick. Man, if at the collapse, I do love a trade. I do love a trade. I wonder if my fucking old ass soul was around when we were trading, because for some reason, I do love it. When you trade for something, it feels cooler than having money involved.
Yeah, man. There's definitely been like super rad societies like amongst our growth, and probably still are whole fucking, fucking villages and what have you. You know what I'm saying? That completely run on the barter system and are fine.
Yeah. But even if I'm using you as an example, you could take you could take your truck nut squash, go down to a small market, put up a tent and be like, buy my truck nut squash. And you would be making money directly from that. That's off. You don't have to report that. That's all cash money, unless you have to do Venmo and all that other shit. Because of course, the sooner, because I loved what Venmo used to just be for drugs. First of all, it used to just be for cokeheads, and then it became for all drugs, and then now it's for everything.
Sure
and
is.
Now is when the IRS is like, hey, we want to know what Venmo's doing, because it got big enough. But I think if you can build something that stays small enough where you don't, you're comfortable with maintaining something not getting bigger, then I think you can operate hidden. I kind of lived my life this way. I pay my taxes every year. Nobody knows nothing. You know? That's why I think part of the reason, if I'm being completely honest, that's part of the reason why getting bigger / richer / any of that stuff, I don't like it, just because people will have more access to what I'm doing and and I've always liked that. I've always liked that more. I've always liked my privacy, and I've always liked being able to do shit without people looking at me more than I've liked what they're throwing at me as to dazzle me in comparison. The fame, riches, all of that shit. All that stuff doesn't seem to me as valuable as being left alone, as being able to have my own fucking thoughts, as not, talking on behalf of fucking Viacom. That's a quite a conundrum to be in when you don't want to end up completely poor when you sell dick jokes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's 100% where I'm at. And once again, my mind is absolutely corrupted right now because of this fucking podcast.
Was there any cult in this 20-hour podcast was there any cult that was like that kept it together, kept it integrity?
There's always like the first part of it, and then like where people are like, yeah, this was a cool experience, you know what I mean? And people who get out of it early or whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, it was great. We just hung out. It was great. We grew vegetables together.
Yeah.
Had an orgy every Sunday. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. Shit got kind of weird and racist at the end, so I decided to leave. But hey, you know what I'm saying? I wish them the best. You know what I mean? It was a lot of slave labor, but whatever. Which is the crazy thing is, like, all these cults out there, like the Yellow Deli people, like the difference in like the cults that we know of that get by and the cults that just like get fucking crazy are there. It's all forced labor. It's all run on slave labor, and it's so weird.
Mm.
But the ones
it's
that
homegrown
taxes,
slave labor. I said it's homegrown slave labor. Why are we outsourcing this shit? We could start a cult and do it ourselves.
Yeah.
USA,
dude, exactly.
USA.
Yeah. And the only difference is the ones that pay taxes and the ones that don't. And the ones that pay taxes, they get a free pass to be absolutely goddamn shit fucking wild.
You got to pay the vig.
You got to pay the big man. And then them getting into that whole part of it, and then that whole, it's brutal. Fucking brutal. So no, I don't know.
Zero cults have not been racist or fucked up or slave laborish. None of them have ended up to the point. Was it because of growth? Is it because they, like, once they get to a certain size, they can't maintain it, so they have to do something nefarious like that? Not the racism part, but the slave labor part.
Whether it be property tax, whether it be a property tax. So in order to pay the property tax, you're going to have to create goods, you know what I'm saying, so that you can have revenue. So it's like it always goes to slave labor. Once again, that's what Jonestown was all about. The fucking people were trying to fucking MK Ultra those people into fucking goddamn being miners, being slave, mining slave. That's all that was about. And that whole story is fucking crazy. But yeah, man. And it's all, and then, Jesus Christ.
I wonder if we have any listeners. If we have any listeners that have ever dipped a toe in a cult, please email us or message us on Instagram and let us know. I'm very curious. I've never been influenced like that by anything or anyone, really, where I would be comfortable.
I could totally see doing it at one point in time. I could totally see being like, yeah, we all need to like just live on a farm together and like just grow stuff and be cool and just not fuck with each other. But like in every situation that has ever been, man. In every situation, and just like the spooks that get involved with it, and they all get weird religious that at some point in time, even the most anarchist crazy thing that you can imagine becomes like really rule and rigid and fucking rule orientated and fucking crazy. I mean, and it's not just here, it's everywhere. But especially American cults are fucking real psycho shit. Real
Because I always remember like fantasizing when I was a kid, and I used to hear about these communes and shit like that. I always thought like that was such an attractive idea. Oh, to live amongst a bunch of friends, we all grow food together, we all share everything that we make. Like the idea of that is fucking sick. You know, self-sustaining. We don't fucking need anybody. We all care about each other. I mean, you know, then you watch like the real world, and then you're like, oh shit, people are crazy though too.
Right. Well, the thing about it is like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for the land if you, and also if you're gonna eat and do all that stuff, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna work all the time, as a matter of fact, and depending on how many people live there, you're gonna have to work that much more. Everybody's gonna have to work, and there's always gonna be something to be done. And on top of that, having to create something to create revenue.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's self-sustaining, why would you need to create revenue? That was the part I didn't understand.
Land. Well, land taxes is mostly what it comes down to. It's like people living on land, and the fucking land being like, I think that's what's kicked off Ruby Ridge, which was it? I can't remember if it was the gun thing or if it was the land tax thing that got them, but that was all fucked up anyways. I mean, really, it was just an excuse to go up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just a whole nother fucked up thing.
Man, what a bummer. Like I said, it always, like, the beginning of it is always, but I think the beginning of all of it is usually good. It was the same time, like, whenever I first moved to Los Angeles, and I was walking, and of course it was like, you know, they have like the creepy kids that stand outside in front of the Scientology building and try to recruit people. And the beginning pitch, I was into. They were talking about how pharmaceutical companies take advantage of the mentally ill and prescribe them shit. And I was like, I agree. I do think they do take, you know, and then it's like, we should be able, and then of course it's like, and then of course, where's the left? And here comes the hard left. Oh, okay. Well, I have thetans that I need to purge, and now I need to give you all this, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I agreed with the initial hook.
Yeah. Which is, dude, here's the thing about the whole, like, the pharmaceutical thing and all that stuff. It's like, that is a big pitch. And that's been a big pitch since like the 80s, since like Reagan's reform, especially.
Yeah.
And like, it's like not doing any mental health stuff. Like how easy it was for a lot of these cults. Like even a lot of them, like people have never really even heard of, like just going around and like picking up these mentally ill people and fucking having them out in their goddamn fucking yard, fucking, you know, doing plowing and working these fucking picking up hitchhikers and taking them to the goddamn ranch to go do fucking work as a fucking mentally ill fucking slave, dude, slave labor. It's like, oh my God. It's crazy how much, dude, it's just, the National Labor Board, how like, how they, I don't want to get into it. That's so long. It's going to be just big, long. So wait, this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot.
Okay, so here's my question though. So then these cults, they don't have to report to the labor board at all?
These cults?
Yeah.
That's why they usually go religious, and they take a religious angle a lot of times. It's like they do it as fucking like spirituality, and it becomes like a religious thing for tax purposes, sometimes for tax purposes, but you have to become a legitimate tax, legitimate. You have to be a legitimate religion in order to to do that. It's all crazy. But no, the labor boards. I now have super bad opinions about both the union and fucking the labor.
Gotcha.
Not the union workers as it is, or the low level stuff, but like
No.
you know, they're
I mean, there's plenty of problematic unions. We could talk about the police union if you want. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of problematic unions. We're not going across the board.
Oh, yeah.
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're totally like the higher up you go, the more you're like, oh my god, these people are super involved with like totally spooks all in it. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking totally involved in the CIA and different fucking weird fucking 3-letter fucking intelligence. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But this is one 20-hour podcast that has completely rotted my brain. So I'm sure I'll feel different about this. But then again, like while I was listening to this, and all of a sudden they start like the DOJ is now investigating. Not that I trust the DOJ, actually, the opposite. The DOJ is now investigating Sean Fain from the UAW, and I'm just like, man, it's just a goddamn. It's just a matter of time before he gets completely fucking MK Ultra. Somebody goes in there with like a fucking walking cane with a cobra head and hypnotizes them in the goddamn bed.
They give him the old Jafar.
Yeah, the old old cobra cane to that. Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's what they did to Jack Ruby. You ever read anything about that? About Jack Ruby?
No.
The guy who shot Lee Harvey Oswald? He was like all fine and all dandy and everything before he shot him. And then they went and did this like mental assessment on him. And then when the guy left, he was like fucking stark, raving, fucking mad. He was absolutely out of his fucking mind. He couldn't wasn't able to like speak at trial or go through trial or everything.
Oh,
because
wow.
he was out of his fucking mind. And the guy who fucking went in there to do his like mental health assessment was a spook named Jolly West. And this guy is involved in everything. I'm saying everything. You name it. Jolly West has something to do with it. Jolly West is connected to fucking Charles Manson. He's connected to fucking Timothy McVeigh. He is the spook of all spooks. This guy, that's another crazy thing about like listening to these kind of podcasts and stuff, is like all of a sudden you'll start hearing like, oh, there was really just like 5 guys. There's like 5 or 6 guys out there in the 60s, 70s, through the 80s, some of them still now. And they were doing this shit, you know what I mean? And they were doing all that stuff. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, stark, raving, fucking mad, dude. Out of his mind. Out of his mind.
I think that's a good place.
Jack Ruby was.
Wait, what?
Huh?
No, what?
No, Jack Ruby was like a mafia dude too, real connected with the mafia.
Oh, anyway. Are you talking about like the whole, because with the mob connection with Kennedy and all that other shit?
Yeah, yeah.
So that guy was involved in that connection as well between the mob and the assassination?
Who Jack Ruby was. Ruby was. And I'm sure Jolly West knew all about it. I mean, hell, he probably helped the assassination. I feel like Alan Dulles killed Kennedy with the help of like some Cuban gangsters and some Italian gangsters, and they set up. That's what I feel like. Yeah. Anyway,
do you think Kennedy would have been an actually good president if he would have been able to see out his term, or do you think he would have been corrupted as well?
No, I think he would have been great. I think that was the problem. I think that was a huge problem, is the fact that he would have ended the Cold World War super early. The sanctions on Cuba and stuff, I think they would have made a lot of progress towards world peace. I think he had a lot of great ideas, and that's why we haven't had any great ideas since. They let them know, hey, buddy, Russia's gonna be our enemy forever. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. We're not going to let them into NATO. We're not, the Cold War is going to last forever. We're going to sanction Cuba forever. We're going to siphon off the resources of the Caribbean and of the fucking, and we're not looking for peace. We're not looking for neutrality. We are looking for domination. And that's been the doctrine of the United States.
Domination! I think we should end it there.
Yeah.
USA! USA! USA!
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/gravybabypod. And also remember, June 30th, officially at 7:30, or should we do it 8? You want 30 minutes? Get your shit together.
Better.
8 p.m. We're going to do 8 p.m. Eastern time for Roar. So make sure you guys join the Discord. We got a bunch of new folks in the Discord. Hello and welcome. We welcome you. We appreciate you. June 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to watch Roar together, and you guys are going to watch white people get mauled by lions and tigers. It's going to be delightful. It'll be a nice family, the team building exercise.
Yeah. That's basically all I remember of that whole movie is either somebody fucking yelling at tigers trying to break them up, or they're getting fucking beat up by tigers.
My favorite is when they're getting mauled by tigers and they're still trying to say their lines for the film while there's like a tiger mauling, just trying to chew on their head and shit. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm so excited. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You could stick a whole ribeye in one of your back pockets. Like,